Could just be here would make you reminisce. Sitting back, pondering, wondering if this really it. I'm really it. Everyone told me since I was just a jit that I would make a difference. Like instantly started making hits. July 25th, moms and pops received the gift. That was me, the golden child, the black sheep. Now I'm grown and proud. Pops died, I was 12 or 13. Turned the crib at 13. That was some niggas' worst dream. Older sis was 16, older brother was 19. I looked up to him, I felt he taught me the right thing. I was skipping school and hanging all night on that night scene. Flipping packs, stealing cars and breaking in houses for nice things. Future looking blit, past colder than ice cream. Mom's throwing fits and I'm fighting and serving crack fiends. Where I'm from, you either the hustler or the doer. Had a fetish for cash and too much pride to be a doer. But don't get it twisted, I seen them hustlers turn to doers and doers turn to hustlers. That's the life in the sewer. My granny is my rock, she knew her grandbabies was rulers. So I'ma forever show my respect I ever knew you. Hallelujah. To God. Allah. To God. Halloween shit, nigga. Meditation. Hey look, malicious wounded saw the battery as a jury charge. In and out of police cars, ain't never gon' respect the law. Expect the law to shoot you in your back and flip your closest friend. Claiming that you tellin' and you'll never see your spam again. Niggas fall for everything, how you stand for anything? Niggas trippin' in they rain, I'm dry and catching them again. Cause I done live a hard life, my hands I play my cards right. In that kitchen all night, turning salt to that hard white. I'm alright, but Logan, powder blue up on that left side. Crippin' with my south side hitters, but I'm from west side. Yes, I'm riding on any vision in my eyes. My mind spiritual didn't help to be baptized. Skinny dip is swimming that lake of fire like 4 times. Flesh still attached, but I'm burning all on that.
Peace, peace, peace. Eric the Mad Scientist, we want to show you some stuff today. This one, I think this is an important subject that I wanted to talk about too. We're talking about how African spirituality is in what we call Christianity today in North America. All this shouting, dancing, catching the Holy Spirit, all this stuff coming from. We're going to show the origin of it. We're going to show where these other African spiritualities came, how they came into, how they came to be mixed in, where they came from. So I hope you enjoy this video. We're about to get started. So let me know how y'all think about it. We finish. I'm gonna let some people come on for a little bit, come to have a discussion if we want to. So let me know, holla. Peace, peace, peace. This is Eric the Mad Scientist, True Knowledge. Come with you with another presentation. You can follow me on Facebook, Eric the Mad Scientist or Eric Trueheart. Instagram, Trueheart30. TikTok, Eric the Mad Scientist. Also, I'm on my YouTube, Eric the Mad Scientist. Today, right here, what I'm doing is I got this thing called African spirituality fused with Islam and European Christianity created Afro Christianity. What do I mean by this? I'm showing how a lot of stuff in the black churches today comes from a lot of African spirituality that was basically snuck in through slavery and stuff like that. I'm speaking on some of how Islam is in it, but I'm also gonna be speaking on other religious things that came from Africa that they do in like South America that has a lot of Christianity and Catholicism in it. Okay, so let's get started. This one right here, what I'm showing is other religions mixed with European, African, and Caribbean spirituality and religions. So y'all understand that a lot of this stuff got mixture up. It's not just one thing. So when you see a lot of stuff that's going on, like the dancing, the spiritual thing, feeling like they're catching the Holy Ghost, a lot of this stuff is African spirituality mixed in. So we will go to the origin of it. But first, we're gonna speak on these African, so-called African spiritualities, or some of the stuff that came from Africa that got mixed in with other things, and now people
have their religion in like places like South America. Polo Mayambe. Polo Mayambe is an African Afro-Cuban religion that originated in the Congo region of Africa. It is syncretic religion. It is a syncretic religion, meaning it's synchronized, okay? Meaning it combines African religion beliefs with Christianity. Palo Yambi is also as Regulus de Congo a Palo Monte, and some describe each of these as a separate manifestation of Santeria. Palo Mayambi rituals and myths center on the spirit of the dead. The religion involves dark rituals that include human and animal remains, grave robbing and ritual dance, song and drumming. Palo Mayambi is practiced in extreme secrecy, and some practitioners acknowledge the religion's dark side. Palo Mayambi main worship involves religious receptacles and may contain earth sticks. Rare artifacts of animal and human remains follows each of the Palo Mayambi used to be used for good and evil. The former is referred to as uh, the Ganga Cristano, while the latter is referred to as a Nagango Judea. Okay, so like I said before, when we talk about these things, these spiritualities, voodoos, is also used for good and bad. So a lot of people thinking it's just bad, but it is. It can be used for bad or good, like spells, rituals, things like that. All right. Umbanda. Umbanda. Umbanda is religion originated in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1920s. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1920s. It is combination of ideas and beliefs from the multiple cultures, including spiritualism, West African beliefs, Catholicism, the practice of indigenous South Americans, elements of Afro-Brazilian traditions like candomblé. Candomblé. That's one of the other ones I'm gonna talk about. Occultism. Okay, Ambanda is spiritual incorporation tradition that first appears in a historical record in the early 20th century in a large city of southern Brazil, especially Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. And Bande is based on spirits, both good and evil. The seven lines of Bande are Aluxus, Bombaras, Conductless, People of the East, Old Blacks, Cowboys, Seamen, and Bahans. Okay, you see that? Now I already showed you two. There's different spirituality in South America that has Catholicism, Christianity, and the African spirituality and Caribbean. Okay. Zango religion. Zango is a religion in Recife, Brazil, that is a cult of Orexes, which are West African gods, Orishas, Orishas, which are West African gods. The religion is synchronized with the saints of Iberian popular Catholicism. Zango is considered a dirty religion that involves blood, sweat, and toil. The basic feature of the religion is slaughter of animals and chapels to feed the saints. During the slaughter, the faithful sing, dance, and experience trance. No ritual in Zango does not lead to or follow from animal sacrifice. Zango is also venerated through a dance pattern called the Aluja or Ronda de Zango, which demonstrates his conquest, power, and dominion. Kango is also the name of the powerful African god Shango, who is revered in the Orisha after his death. Shango is originally from the Yoruba people of Nigeria and Benin. Okay, so that's three I showed. Okay, let's go to the next one. Candomblé. Candomblé is an African Brazilian religion that developed in Brazil in the 19th century. Is a syn- centric syncretic religion, meaning it combines elements of several different religious traditions. Cumbia is a combination of African beliefs, Roman Catholic art and visuals, and Indian elements. It's an example of the Portuguese slave trade, which began in the 16th century, combining African traditional religions with Portuguese Catholicism. Candomblé also of ideas and second. I'm about to go to my presentation. I'm gonna have to do it myself. My bad. The video won't working like that, so I'm just gonna do it myself. All right, let's get to it. Yeah, but I was just showing. I'm gonna be showing this. Let me see. Technical difficulties. Doing almost didn't get the notification. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to show it myself on here. They got a little bit piece of it. All right, let me see. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see. Let me see. Come on, come on. Where's it at? Oh man. Oh, hold on. Now we trying to act like. Oh, here it go. I'm supposed to know this gonna act like I ain't. Here it go. Let me see. Come on. Oh, they're trying to bamboozle me, man. Okay, here it go. Yeah, again, y'all trying to show. I'm gonna show how this African spirituality is mixed in. Give me 1 second. Pull it up for y'all. And like I said, I'm showing this because people don't understand where a lot of this stuff comes from and why in Christianity we used to see people dancing around and jumping around, acting like they have the Holy Spirit, not understanding where it actually was coming from. So I'm about to show you. It's trying to stop me, but I'm gonna get it there. I'm gonna get it. Everybody, thanks for watching. I'm about to get it up there. We here. Thank you, thank you. About to pop up. Here you go. All right, there you go. We do this. We share it. All right. We get to where I started off, where I left off at. There you go. We're about to pop up. Let's see if I can make it full screen. Oh, I ain't pop up yet. Look at that. Come on now. There you go. All right. Uh, like they said, it's Monday. For some reason, Monday always do this for me. But here we go. Okay. All right, it's up. What's up? What's up? Okay. Let me go to it. All right. Let me see if I can make it big. All right, let me go down to where I was at. Come on, man. Playing with me now. Trying to play with me now. But anyway, the people that's ready to watch, I'm about to get to this. I'm gonna break down why I say African spirituality and Caribbean spirituality and all this stuff is mixed in this Christianity we have today. And when you see this, you're gonna start seeing and understanding like, okay, this is where this comes from. Some people might already know, but this is for the people that don't really know, and this part for the people that's trying to deny it. Okay, so let me see if I got it up here. All right, here you go. There you go. All right, let's get to it. All right, I already explained, I already showed. So I'm just gonna do a little recap. I already showed the different ones, the different what you call African spirituality in South America that people saying that's connected to African spirituality, but this stuff is actually these religions in South America actually watered down version of the originals. Like voodoo is watered down, or vandu that came from Benin. You know what I'm saying? And when it came over here, it got mixed in because people was getting converted to Christianity, Catholicism, and they were trying to keep their spirituality, and they was mixing in with Caribbean spirituality. That's how this stuff got mixed. So I'm just showing that all this other spirituality they talk about, they call African spirituality, is actually religion. So I'm gonna say it again. All right, I broke down this. So all right, Santeria. So we could go to Santeria. Because we see people think a lot of this stuff, oh, South American religion, African religion mixed in. That this stuff still has Catholicism in it. That's why if you go, Catholicism will believe in a lot of this stuff because their religion is mixed in with it. Catholicism is Christianity. So when people try to say Catholicism ain't got no, Catholicism is Christianity. Okay, it's a different domination. Santeria is an African Caribbean religion that originated in Cuba in the late 19th century. It also is known as La Regla, Lukami. Okay, Santeria is a syncretic religion that combines, listen to this now, Yoruba belief and traditions with some Roman Catholic elements and spiritualism. The name Santeria translates to the way of the saints in Spanish. Okay, do this sound like just a South American African religion? No. Santeria's four main forms of devotion are divination, sacrifice, spiritual mediumship, and initiation. In prisons, devotees build altars with discarded cereal boxes and make sacrifices to apple, oranges, coffee, cigars, and pigeon feathers. About 7% of Cubans practice Santeria of another African based religious tradition. Now, you see how they say it's an African base. What I'm saying is, what they're saying is it's more African, but again, it's mixed with Catholicism, which is Christianity. It's mixed with Caribbean spirituality. All this stuff is mixed in with it. It's watered down. It's not the original form of anything. It's a mixture. Now, so I'm getting to this because I want you, when I get into Christianity, I want you to see it's no difference. The only difference is Christianity is just Christianity mixed in with the other stuff. This is African spirituality and Caribbean spirituality mixed in with religion. So that's the difference between them. All right. Let's see if somebody's saying something. Shalom Smash. Peace DOE. All right. So let's get to this again. Voodoo. Now watch this. Voodoo is a religion that involves magic and communication with spirits and the dead. It's influenced by traditional African religion and is common in the Caribbean and southern United States. Voodoo has many forms, including Dominican voodoo, a secret of religion that developed in the Spanish Empire. Haitian voodoo, a Sikh religion that practiced in Haiti that combines ancient African religions and French Catholicism. You hear this? So the Haitian voodoo that y'all talking about is synchronized with African religion and French Catholicism. Okay, Louisiana voodoo is a set of African-based spirituality folkways. Hoodoo, also known as Gula voodoo or Low Country voodoo, that is a American created African spirituality, what you call it. That's still connected to Christ. That's mixed with Christianity. Buddha is a monotheistic religion that recognizes a supreme spiritual entity of God. In Haiti, the god is known as Bondi, which means good God in Haiti Creole. In the Fon and the Voodoo is called Mui Lisa, and in the Yoruba it's called Olorum. Okay, so again, I'm just showing you. That's why we got to realize these people was not just there is no way it could be African based when when most of these people were taken over and brung over here and converted. The only way that the African stuff is still around is because they had to mix it in with the religion. That's the only way it thrived and survived so long. Okay, that's the only way. All right, let's go to this. Now we're gonna start getting. So now that I explained that, we're gonna start getting into the Africans leaving from one place, coming over here, being converted, and how they mixed it in, and how Northern Christianity was first called Afro Christianity because it has the mixture in between it, and how the dancing came, and we're gonna speak on how this so-called Holy Spirit thing came, and all this stuff. We're gonna explain how this stuff got into Christianity, why they running around crazy and acting like they got the Holy Spirit and shouting and all this stuff, where it comes from. Let's go. Africans and African descendants working in the early modern Atlantic commercial system were exposed to the word of European Christianity as early as the 15th century, and when Portuguese missionaries came to the coast of Africa, some slaves therefore brought Christian belief with them. When they were thrust into slavery, others converted in America. During the 17th century, blacks in the Dutch New Netherlands and Spanish Florida baptized their children and were married by the church. In part, the participation in the demonic European religion reflected and helped to bring about a colonial society in which blacks were more fully integrated and enjoyed greater rights than later generations of slaves would. So what they did first, when they first brought Africans over and brought people over and they were converted you, they actually try to treat you or somewhat give you some type of better treatment than people who didn't convert. But you could see that it changed because they tried to act like, okay, we're Christians, so we convert them. How can we do this to Christians? So for them to keep enslaving you and doing stuff to you, they had to change that stuff. They had to say, no, what, we can't keep doing this because they had an agenda, and agenda was getting messed up by giving you a blessing to be converted instead of just forcing you to convert. So that was the difference. African Muslim Islam off the boat with them. All right, so this is talking about the Islam came because we got to understand Israelites came off the boat, Africans came off the boat, Christians, people that was already converted to Christianity, um, Islam. It's one story. I forgot the man name. He was a Muslim prince, and he got enslaved by his own people, was sent to America. But what happened is they had a treaty with the father. So they freed him and let him go back home. So a lot of this stuff was going on. So it wasn't just from one place. They was going different places. Africans was trading Africans. European was banned. They was making treaties with people, making treaties with some of the Native Americans. A lot of this stuff was just going on. And people, that's why I tell people need to really go deeper to history, right? I Bishop of Rome was sometimes called the eldest daughter of the church. Yeah, the French Catholic Church or Catholic Church in French are part of the worldwide. Yep, you're right. All right, let's go. With the African slave trade, the first sizable group of Muslims also came to America, while slave trade st- st- statistics fraught with impression of existence of Islam was frequently not recognized by those keeping data. It has been estimated that somewhere between 10% and 30% of the slaves brought to America between 1711 and 1808 were Muslim. They brought their practice of prayer, their fasting, their dietary practice, and their knowledge of the Quran with them to American shores. Fula, for example, was a slave on the sea island of Georgia in the late 18th and 19th centuries, according to all accounts. Balilia gave his children Muslim names, wore fez and long coats, spoke French, English, and Arabic, and was finally buried with his prayer rug and his Quran. Other early American Muslims whose account has been recorded include Salah Balali and a slave Saint Simon Allen, Georgia, and Omar Ibn Said, who left behind an autographical narrative. Okay, you can find that in Harvard University, the Pluralism Project. Okay, Africans forced into slavery in America brought them a diverse range of African, polytheistic, and Muslim religion and traditions. These traditions were often synchronized with one another and with Christianity in America. The diverse American religious traditions that trace their lineage back to religious traditions of African slaves and African immigrants played an important role in the fight of civil rights in the middle of the 20th century, and they continue to inform fights for civil rights and against injustice. Okay, so this is telling you that we a lot of this stuff got mixed with that's why I tell you the Gulu dude try to tell me the Gulu was just a native indigenous people. The Gulu are West Africans and indigenous people who mix together. Okay, when you talk about this Creole, it's French, it's indigenous people, it's African people. Okay, so it's a lot of mixture. So when you mix these different cultures, you're mixing together. You have to mix up their culture. You have to mix up their religion, their belief, their gods. All this stuff gets synchronized. Okay, during the early 18th century, and Anglican missionaries attempted to bring Christianity to slaves in the southern colonies often found themselves butting against not only uncorruptive masters but also resistant slaves. An unquestionable obstacle to the acceptance of Christianity among slaves was their desire to continue to adhere as much as possible to the religious belief and rituals of their African ancestors. Missionaries working in the South were especially displeased with the slave rendition of African practices such as polygamy and what they call idolatrous dancing. In fact, even blacks who embraced Christianity in America did not completely abandon old world religion. So they're saying when they first met these people and trying to convert these people, they were trying to call us, or well, African people, indigenous idolatrous and didn't like the polygamy they was doing and didn't like the dancing. So if people think Christianity is what brought the dancing, what brought the Holy Spirit type, the conquering spirits, the yelling out, no, this is this is African people that were trying to mix it in inside of a religion, and they was trying to keep them away from it at first. But what you're gonna find out is it got so big, and these and everybody started converting into this stuff that the Christianity, original Christianity, had to accept this stuff. So now you got what Europeans doing it. You got black people doing it. You got Asian church doing it. Everybody dancing. Everybody all catching the Holy Spirit, dancing around, doing all these dances. This is, but they getting it from it originated from African spirituality, dancing the music, doing rituals, stuff like that. This is where this stuff coming from. Okay. Instead, they engaged in secretism, blending Christian influences with traditional African rites. Objects such as crosses were conflated with charms carried by Africans to ward off evil spirits. Christ was interpreted as a healer, similar to the priests of Africa. In the New World, fusions of African spirituality and Christianity led to distinct new practices among slave populations, including voodoo and voodoo in Haiti and Spanish Louisiana. Although African religion influence were also important among northern blacks, exposure to old world religions were more intense to the south, where the density of the black population was greater. So what they did again, they when you synchronize something, you try to relate. So what happens is okay, we have spiritual healers, or Africans said they had spiritual healers, spiritual doctors. So they connected Christ to that because they had no choice because they was getting converted. They was getting forced into this stuff. So by them accepting it, they took a lot of their old religion, their old beliefs, and they tried to mix it in, just like the European mixed it in with the Christianity. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is just like we do today, a lot of people try to the first time people start recognizing themselves as Israelites is what? They start reading the Old Testament. They start seeing what the Israelites went through in Egypt. And they start saying, that sounds like exactly what we going through. And they start comparing themselves to that and saying, we have to be these people. This we have to be this people that these Bibles talking about. This is the stuff that people do. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying we are, not saying we is. I'm just saying the comparison of how we do when we start getting forced into these religions. African influence in black churches today, African religion in America, okay, Howard University. The West Africans brought to North America carried them a rich variety of African the traditions, belief, and practice. Okay, okay. Practice, but little and documented of the first 100 years of their religious labs here. Their original religious traditions respected the spiritual power of ancestors, and they often worship a diverse pantheon of gods overseeing all aspects of daily life. The passage of seasons, the fertility of the natural world, physical and spiritual health, and the success of the community. Their religious life had included initiation rites and naming rituals, folk tales and healing practices, um, ecstatic dancing and song. The religious life clearly took new forms as Africans were separated from one another and from their roots. Many scholars today will argue that the ring shout of early black Christian worship is a development of African ecstatic dance traditions, and that the call of response rhythm of black preaching, hymnody, and this hymning, I'm gonna tell you what that is. And the gospel music has its roots in the song styles of West Africa. Okay, so what they're trying to say when when the preacher and do the and talk, the stuff they do like that, the dancing, the ring shouting, like I said, it's all influenced and all what originated as an African spirituality. See, people don't want to say that because you got people out here that say they don't want to say they don't want to know the African part of stuff because we've been taught. It's not what I'm saying is you don't have to be African. You don't have to go to Africa. You don't have to try to be an African because what I'm just saying is what we showing is I like showing the origination of how stuff went, why stuff is here, why stuff is happening like this. So when people look at the church and they see the stuff going on, they understand. They understand why these people doing this. They understand there's a reason, but these people don't know. So you see these people in churches running around dancing and yelling, "Oh, I got the spirit in me." This, and when they doing this stuff, they don't even know where it comes from because it's been going on so long that it got synced in with Christianity. They think it's a Christianity thing. Okay, y'all follow me? Let me know y'all follow me now. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear what I'm saying? Everything good? Voice sound good? Okay, let's keep going. A lot of people ain't gonna like it. A lot of people gonna, but I don't see. I'm a person. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you hate it, but you ain't gonna say it's wrong. See, that's the point. So when you say if you don't like something, you hate something, but it's not wrong, then what you do? What do you hate? You hate the truth. Okay. So African religion, American Harvard University. From the standpoint of America's ongoing encounter with religious difference, the institution of slavery played a tremendous role in shaping American religious life. It brought African religious traditions, both West African tribal traditions and Islam, to American shores and created a critical of oppression out of which rose new African American forms of Christian worship and expression. Slavery forced white Americans to rethink their own religious identity, struggling with the deepest uh, dictates of their conscience and the practice of their churches. Many denominations split over the question raised. So what they're saying is they see this was going on. They see that it was exciting these black people. These black people was joining in and they was mixing in their own thing. And what happened is these churches started looking around and say, hey, maybe we should to keep them in a certain mindset to keep them still under us and not wanting to rebel because we can accept some of this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Maybe some of this stuff can be accepted. Maybe we can update this stuff. Some churches like no because they doing evil, they doing wicked because they Africans, they doing African spiritual, like doing look at that dancing. You don't supposed to do this as a Christian. You know what I mean? So this was the argument they was doing. Okay, let me see if anybody's saying anything. Okay, can we hear you? Okay, okay. All right. So Let's go to the next. A brief overview of Black religious history in the U.S. Okay. Interactions between enslaved people and Christian missionaries and other evangelists led to a spread of Christianity among Black Americans. Many slave owners initially resisted these evangelistic efforts, partially out of concern that if an enslaved people became Christians, they would see themselves as their legislation. I mean, they would see themselves. Hold on. If enslaved people became Christians, they would see themselves as their owners, equals. By 1706, these fear of slave owners had spurred legislation in at least six colonies declaring that an enslaved person baptism did not entail their freedom. See, what would happen is again, 'cause these people calling themselves Christians. And so they had heard these people to Christians. Christians like, well, how can we convert them, saying that we love Jesus, saying we this and that, saying we are followers of Jesus, but then we enslaving these people. So we make them Christians. They had to be our brothers, and if they're our brothers, they had to be equal. And if they had to be equal, they had to be free. So now we're gonna make a law that even though they are getting baptized, even though they are becoming Christians, they don't have to be free because that's what was in endangering them because they were at this time where they were not in that power that they have now. They were not as many of them as it was, so they didn't have the power to defend that. Okay, this fear by slave owners has spurred. Let me see. Baptism did not entail their freedom. In addition, many enslaved people who did become Christians had to deal with restrictions by their masters who forbade them for attending church and prayer meetings. To get around these restrictions and for alternatives to sermons by white clergy asking them to obey their owners. Many Christian enslaved people held secret services with distinctive style of praying, singing, and worship. These services were typically held in their cabins and in nearby woods, gullies, ravens, and thickets. So what they're saying is they were trying to when they tried to when they stopped it and then he tried to stop them from praying. When you go to a lot of these narratives, slave narratives, they said didn't want us to pray. When the person died, they just say bury them and don't do nothing else. Don't pray. Don't bless them. Don't do nothing. 'Cause they were scared of because a lot it's a saying. I don't know if it's mythology or is it history, but it's a saying that some people that came over here had the power of speech. So that's why they put the things over their mouth to where if they talk, their tongue got cut off. Okay, so they was really scared of prayer because the people who were praying. So to me, they knew a lot of who these people were. Because if you're scared of their prayer and you think they're just heathens or you think they're just pagans or you think they just non-godly people, why are you so scared of their prayer? Okay, so let's go. All right, let's go. All right, the making of the black world. At the point where history meets faith adopted to the new environment and illustrated the capacity of transform a negative history of oppression. It was within the context of the plantation church. I was dry. That the content of hope of the deliverance was born. What were the marks of plantation church that provided hope for enslaved persons? According to Du Bois, there was a strong respect for nature worship and strong proclivities um, toward witchcraft. Okay, there were also a substantial number of enslaved persons who were Mohammedans. That means in the making of black world, there were much hybridity and plurality, and the tenets of religions as diverse as Islam, Christianity, and African traditional faith were fused together. The key was the presence of African priests who saw the need for equilibrium in the culture and practiced their art of religion. Voodoo, Obeah, Santeria is all a blending of the sacred and secular finding that the secret all things that positioned the African preacher and medicine practitioner to lead the charge against plantation life and the inhumanity of slavery. So again, they're telling you all these things were mixed in. The South African religion that they call African spirituality is all mixed in. Is a religion. That's how the old black churches, they had Hindu, hoodoo old black churches. A lot of the black churches, the deacons and the deaconess, even some of the preachers actually practiced healing, did a lot of stuff, practice with charms and stuff outside of the church. Some of them did it in the church. You see what I'm saying? It just today, by becoming more modern, people are trying to split away from it and say, "Oh no, we ain't got nothing to do with it." Them people, but they have this stuff. They'll go look at the voodoo people, talking about they catch the spirit and dancing around, but then they doing the same thing they doing. So to a people like us, who's y'all only, who's Torah based, we looking at both of y'all like y'all the same people. Y'all just claiming different religions, but doing the same exact thing. See, and that's what people got to understand. All right. Let me see. Watch night services. Watch night services are rooted in African American religious traditions. During the first night, watch night, many enslaved African Americans gathered to pray, worship, sing, and dance. At the time, enslaved black people could find little respite for every present surveillance. Even in practicing their faith, white enslavers feared that religion, which was often used to quell slave resistance, could incite exact opposite if practiced without observance. The wrote laws and restricted worship of large gatherings, such as the 1848 Georgia Slave Code. This is in Virginia, where I'm from, right here. Virginia, the Lord will take care of the colored folks, saying the old year and out of the new year in the scene of the colored church at Grafton near Yorktown during the watch meeting. I went to Yorktown, I've been to Jamestown. So this is what's telling you is the same religion. Now listen to me now. Listen to me. Let me tell you, I want y'all to really hear me. The same religion, okay, that they said we created to keep these people servants and enslaved and keep them enslaved can be the same religion that freed them if they by practicing and a way that we can't observe them and keep them boxed in into this Christianity. Meaning, when they start reading the book and they start reading the Old Testament, they start seeing the difference between it because they see an eye for an eye. They see warriors fighting. They see God fighting against his enemies. When you go into another book and they showing you, hey, obey your master, be a good servant to this master. See, this is a difference. So they had to observe you. They had to understand. They had to watch what you was saying. They had to watch what you was preaching. They had to watch what you was praying for. Okay. A brief overall of black religious history in the United States. The first black Protestant domination, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, was founded in the early 1800s by Richard Allen, who brought his freedom from slavery. Allen had become a Methodist preacher in the 1780s, but in 1787, he and others left the predominantly white church after being pulled from their knees in a prayer for being in a section of the church where black worshipers were not allowed. There, decades later, he and the representatives from five other congregations founded the AME, the denomination. A similar chain of events in New York led to the creation of the AM Zion Church in 1821, the largest black Pentecostal denomination. The Church of God in Christ, formed in 1897, gained steam after revival in Los Angeles, California, known as the Azusa Street Revival. Began in 1906, the revival, led by a black preacher, the Reverend William J. Seymour, is credited by scholars with spurring the growth of Pentecostalism in the United States and subsequently subsequently around the world. Okay, so that's when it started getting into black people get leaving white churches and start creating their own black churches. It was a branch off. It's the same way in a lot of different things. Same way in masonry stuff like that. They branch off and they start making their own stuff, but it's the originator come from all the way from a certain people. Okay, all right. Africans becoming Protestants. Black religious history in the U.S. Okay, 2/3 of Black Americans are Protestant. Like about 4 in 10 Americans overall, the relationship between Black Americans and Protestantism is usually due to the history of slavery and segregation, which spawned the creation of several Black-led dominations that allowed Black Americans to worship freely. Mostly found prior to 1900, these historically Black Protestant denominations also supported colleges and helped Black communities in other ways. Okay, so when they started black church, they did start them to try to counterattack the oppression that was going on. You know what I'm saying? They tried to do it. They were trying to help. They were trying to build this off of helping the black community. Churches don't do this to the. They don't. A lot of them don't even care about that stuff. But a lot of this stuff in the originally was built to just not offer, just believe in it, because there would be a fool to believe in going through the conditions they were, but they understood how to use it. Okay, I think you're a fool for believing in something that was keeping you oppressed, but that's just me. All right, brief overall of Black religious history in the United States. At the same time, Protestantism alone does not define the black religious experience in the United States. Before enslaved people in America began converting to Protestantism in sizable numbers during the 1700s, they commonly followed traditional West African religions or Islam. Catholicism, too, has a long presence among black Americans, including Maryland, Kentucky, Louisiana during the slavery era. Okay? But again, let's not try to act like Catholicism and Christianity ain't just the Catholicism is a part of Christianity. There is no such thing as just Christianity. Christianity is the main name base, and then you have Protestants, you have Methodists, uh, 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 you have Baptists, you have the Catholicism, you have this, you have that. You see what I'm saying? It's just the dominations of Christianity. So when a person say a Christian, if you see two people talking, they say a Christian, the first thing they will say, okay, you're a Christian. What kind of Christian are you? Or I'm a Baptist, or I'm a Pentecostal. Pentecostal is way stricter than Baptist. I grew up as a Baptist. Okay. Hoodoo. How much people know about hoodoo out here? Okay. People think hoodoo is some African spirituality. Again, it's American based so called African spirituality that's mixed in with different stuff. Okay. The hoodoo religion during slavery included religious practices from various African cultural groups, including the Odani religion of the Igbo people, the Yoruba, and Vandun religions of the Fan and Iwi people. Now, if you want to know about that type of stuff, go into my the Hami tribe when I was talking about the Vandu and how they came from the Hami tribe, which actually is AKA called Benin. Okay, on the Bantu Congo traditions in Central Africa, all these African religion traditions blended and fused in with Christianity. You hear me? I'm saying it again. The Abadani religion of the Igbo people, the Yoruba, the Vandun religions of the Fana Iwi people, and the Bantu Congo tradition in Central Africa. All these African religious traditions blended and fused with Christianity on slave plantations, created a unique spiritual tradition practiced by enslaved African Americans and their descendants. After the Civil War, many of these African religious practices survived in hoodoo and became a spiritual practice that continues to African American communities today. Today. That's something that happened then. That's something that was in the past. It has is going on today. But the difference is many of them don't know it because the elders are not telling them what it is. The elders are passed on, and many didn't pass on the knowledge of where it came from because they was trying to have it under Christianity because they would want you to believe it. All this stuff was Christianity, and they gave up on the African spirituality side, but they never got rid of it. So when you start doing that stuff in the Christianity that's part of African spirituality, they wanted you to believe it was Christianity. If that makes sense to you, okay? All right, let's go to the next. Hoodoo fusing Christianity in St. Louis, Hoodoo in St. Louis, an African American religious tradition. Hoodoo, not to be confused with voodoo or vandu or voodoo or voodoo, vandu, and this is another way how voodoo is spelled. It's a spiritual religious tradition created by enslaved African Americans in the United States and inspired by Central and Western African religious practices. The practices include herbal healing, regeneration, and African ancestors, counterclockwise circle dancing, ring shouting, okay, ring shouting, circle dances, immersion, sacred music, spiritual possession, divination, and using charms of spiritual protection against physical harm and conjure. Listen to it now. Many of these Central and Western African religious practices were brought to North America during the transatlantic slave trade. Enslaved Africans were often forced to become Christians upon arrival in North America. The synchronization of African practices with the Christian religion created hoodoo among enslaved African Americans. Slave codes did not allow large gathering of free or enslaved blacks, and it was a crime for African Americans to practice traditions from Africa. As a result, some hoodoo practices were hidden in African American churches, creating a unique brand of Christianity that fused African traditions such as Catholic Afro Christianity. Okay, so this is a lot of people don't know about this stuff about hoodoo. I'm not doing the hoodoo. Now that's where I draw the line. Yeah, I understand. But anybody that's doing Christianity now understanding that they are doing hoodoo. That is, it's mixture inside of their Christianity, and that's what a lot of people not understanding. A lot of that stuff is mixed inside of their Christianity. Okay, the beginning of Black American made black groups. So now we about to get to a whole another thing, a part of it. Okay, a brief over of Black religious history in the U.S. Let me see, because I'm trying to figure out if I can. Let me see if I my wave one invite guest. Alright, I'm trying to see if I can put this in the comments in case y'all wanna join later. Alright, let me get out of there. Oh no, don't end it. Wait a minute. Almost what okay. Alright. Hold on, let me get myself out of here. Remove. Okay, alright, there you go. Hold on, how you kick a person? You kicked me out of this thing. Oh man. Alright. Okay, there you go. Alright, so alright. Oh, I didn't read that part. Oh my bad. Alright. Historians say biblical story of the Israelites escape Egypt provided a good idea for the inspiration to enslave people. This was reflected in the coded lyrics of some of their religious songs or spirituals. And Go Down Moses, for example, the lyrics played for the Hebrew prophets to tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. Frederick Douglass wrote that when he was a child before he escaped slavery, the keen observer might have detected in our repeated songs of a Canaan, so sweet Canaan. I am bound for the land of Canaan, something more than a hope of reaching heaven. We meant to reach the north, and the north was our Canaan. So when they read these books and they read this Bible, they was inspired by reading this Bible and said, "Man, these people are just like us." You see what I'm saying? Some say these people are us, like we say today, and they use this as codes to get out of slavery, just like songs, just like braiding hair, just like we when they made clothes, we made clothes with maps in it. A lot of stuff that we did to have contact um with each other, to how we was going to free each other, okay, or how we was going to hit the Underground Railroad. Let me see if I put it. Yeah, okay, all right. So when they said we going to Canaan, they were saying we're going up north, meaning there was a lyric to tell the other slave, "Hey, it's time to go to the Underground Railroad, or the people here that's going to be able to take us up north to be free." So up north to them was their Canaan. That was their Exodus. Okay. All right. A black overview of black religious history in the U.S. The turn of the century in the early 1900s saw the founding of small non-Christian black religious organizations that urged black people to view themselves as Asiatic Moors or as descendants of ancient Israelites, and that used religion to nurture the identities outside of society, racial heresies. The Nation of Islam, which became the most prominent of these groups, was founded in 1930 in Detroit by a man known as Wallace D. Farad. It taught that black people were the original and superior race, and that white people were the devils, resulting from an experience designed by black scientists. Then there was the Back to Africa movement by Marcus Garvey. While not a religious movement, its leader Garvey urged black people to move to Africa to form a government, a nation of our own, strong enough to lead protection to the members of the race scattered all over the world. Even though I think Marcus was if I ain't mistaken, I think Marcus Garvey was like a Catholic, if I ain't mistaken. So you had Catholics right here, you had Islam, Moorish, Hebrew Israelite. I forgot his name. I don't want to say the wrong name, but I don't think he was he a part of the Ten Commandment Keepers? If anybody knew that, put that in there. All right. Reviving culture through ring shouting. Now, ring shouting, the ring shout is it. What is it? It is an African American spiritual tradition many regard it as long lost and forgotten, but that manifests today in Black Baptist Church and and in a spirit that has been carried along through Methodist and the Protestant churches and praise houses. All of these bear the history involved from the very first ring shouts. The ancestors. Hold on, did somebody jump on you? Sound like they did. I'm gonna bring you on real quick. Peace, peace.
Hey, Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. All right, all right. Protestant churches and praise houses. All of them bear the history involved in very first ring shouts. The ancestors brought to the United States during the transatlantic slave trade used dance and music as a coping mechanism. The original ring shouts were a mix of rich cultures, traditions, songs, and dances from various communities that mixed designed to create a new community within a violent new world in Cuba, Trinidad, Venezuela, Brazil, Colombia, and Jamaica. These traditions are closely identified with the Orishas, divine spirits of nature. I was curious to understand why the ring shout culture has not been preserved in the United States in the same way that it has been. And that's what the person believes across other parts of African diaspora, where the same culture and ethnic groups were displaced during the transatlantic slave trade, investigating what we call the investigating what we call the tradition that was practiced in the United States by other slave ancestors. I learned I learned we called it a ring shout. I learned that over the years, through the forced indoctrination of Christianity, the ring shout tradition was drastically morphed and changed. Now, this is a person you're going to find out that was in church. They end up going to South America, studying the voodoo, studying the South American stuff. And they said, wait a minute, man, this look like a Baptist church. The same stuff they will be doing in church, the same stuff they do in church, the same stuff they doing right here. And they see it. The thing is, these people in South America know where some of this stuff comes from. They know it's African based and Catholic based and this base. For some reason, North American lost their touch when the elders started down and they tried to just make it seem like it was a Christianity thing. Okay. Why is ring shout significant? It holds the memories of those who came before us. I am interested in understanding and preserving the songs and dances that my great great grandmother would sing. Move on. It's the shuffle of feet, swinging of arms, singing of arms, and shouldering pulsing that I see in my grandma and mother's today. Ring shout is a blood memory. It's obtained simultaneously found itself in the children of our mothers today. The spirit of ring shout is not only in the gospel churches in the United States South, but the same energy and culture can be found in the shouting communities of Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica, Barbados, and more. The memory holds thick. Recall every Sunday going on the hearing of my woman's feet patting on the wooden floor to the old hymns. As as an adolescent, I began to study spiritual dances of the African diaspora, starting with dances of the Orishas. Later, I traveled to Brazil, Trinidad, Jamaica, and Nigeria to continue studying these spiritual dances or a movement prayer, as most practitioners would consider them, in reflecting on my own culture as an African American woman. I started to question why the spiritual dance forms and enslaved people in the United States were not preserved in the same way as they have been in other areas of the Americas, as they have been throughout the Caribbean and Cuba and Brazil and Haiti. When I traveled to Trinidad, I realized, check this out, I realized how similar the movement, vocabulary, and patterns were to the Holy Ghost dancing that observed as a young girl in my grandmother's church. The shouting that occurs in Trinidad is closely aligned to the Yoruba, Orisha, divine spirits lineages and also has influences on Christianity. This was my aha moment in finding the link. So this is a person who grew up in church, who went down to South America, who seen this stuff inside of these different what you call Africa, so African spirituality, African religions, and say, hey, why does America don't preserving the ancestral African spirituality like some of these South American places are doing? And then when she started going there and looking at them, she said, we are doing that. We just not recognizing them. See, that was the difference. All right. The flow of African spirituality into the world Christianity, a case of pneumatology and migration. Which of the spirituality in particular of African Christians bears traces of the influence of African traditional religions, prayer traditions like incantations, melodies, choruses, and appeal to spirits typical have infiltrated the religions of African Christians, both at home and in the diaspora, amongst Christian and the mainline churches, as well as the African independent churches. Though the flow of African spiritual heritage into Christianity happened in the earlier history of Christianity, it accelerated in the lives of slaves in the diaspora in the West Indies, in the Americas, and Europe. Today, the process continues among African migrants fleeing an unbearable political and economic strangulation in Africa. They migrate with their culture and spirituality and the impact of Christianity worldwide. It is an intent that this paper, therefore, to explore how the African mystic sentiment, frenzy, and excitement and spirit Latin spirituality, which to combine the sacred and secular in practice life, influence Christian worship and through down the ages and in recent times contributed to immerse of a Pentecostal and charismatic spirituality. So now when people see in these churches and they feel like they going way more out of control. They're dancing, they're catching the Holy Spirit, they falling on the ground, looking like they got all these type of demons and or Holy Ghost in. I don't know what they're supposed to have when they dancing around, they talking this way, they saying this, oh, they screaming, shouting. You see what I'm saying? It's getting they saying this church is getting going back into the African Christianity that it was originated going from in the first place. The only difference is they don't understand that it is, and when people seeing it, they think these people are going out of control. But these people are actually doing what they did when they first became Christians, because you know what I'm saying? Because they was doing it before Christianity. Now, am I saying everybody Africans? No. If I say everybody was Muslims? No. I said all these people that came around, all this stuff got synchronized. A lot of this, all this stuff got synchronized in North America under the name of Christianity. All right, so that was my outro. I just wanted y'all to see and understand when I say these things and the information I bring out why I'm saying this, because a lot of people that still following this stuff and still into this religion um, don't understand. They forgot the history. They forgot the invasions, the converting. They like it's like they got rid of all this stuff and try to act like this Christianity is the purest religion type thing that they can grab onto when it's not. It's actually a deceiving thing because our people had African people had to get inside of these religions and keep their shit preserved because if they didn't try to preserve it through this dancing and shouting and the stuff they was doing, it would have straight been a whole different type of Christianity, and we probably would have never, as a people, got into at least in a better condition that we in today. All right. So what's up, Smash Idol?
Tell on my nothing. I was just yeah, I noticed that True couldn't be up there, so I just what I'm saying was just pulling up, just what I'm saying, show support. Really, I'm sitting here learning and listening.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, cause I just hit him up today, and it just wanted something I wanted to talk about. I've been wanting to put on, you know what I mean. So I just asked him, he gave me permission. I was like, hey, you got permission to the platform, so you want to put something up. So I just feel like these things that we should know, understand is history. I just love history, man. I love origin going to the origins of things and how things happen, and I don't look at it as a bass from a bass eye. I don't look at stuff from hate. I don't look at stuff to not because I might don't agree with it or don't like it. I teach it because it's history, it's truth, and I think people should know about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, that's it kind of it do kind of impel me the fact that like when you look at people like they in the church and stuff and they call that stuff shouting, right?
Yeah,
Then you look at you do look at certain you know outside countries and they do certain things, but then like also like when you look at like the urban our urban community, quote unquote, right? You start seeing a lot of I don't know, it's like it seems like African dances almost. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like are people like like the I don't know. It do seem like they in tune with that a lot. It's,
yeah. And it's not that it seems like it is, and you see it because you are a researcher like I am. You study things like I do, and when you study, the more you research, the more you see things, and the more you know what I mean. Because you see it, you understand, man. This ain't no religious Christian thing that came from Europe. This is something that black people brought into this religion. And this is not a new teaching. This is not something that the elders knew this. The older people knew this. But what happened is they started getting real into this Christianity, and they start banding themselves from this stuff and trying to act like, oh, we don't do that. And what I'm trying to tell people, if you don't like voodooism, you don't like Santeriaism, you don't like Hindu hoodoo, then you shouldn't like Christianity. And see, that's what people don't like when I say that. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying join voodoo. I'm not saying like Santeria. I'm not saying like that. I'm saying if y'all Christians that say y'all don't like these things, then you shouldn't like Christianity either. Because Christianity is mixed with all them things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got a big point out. That's yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
Even you can literally tell. Like I say a lot of times to people, like I feel you know African the African ideology. One of the things is like ancestor worship. You know what I mean? Like calling on ancestors and stuff. And a lot of people that follow that book, the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand like when they say certain names like whether you say it modern or paleo, it don't matter. But you know what I'm saying? Like when they say like
Yeah.
outside, you know what I'm saying? But they're not talking about Joshua when they say it. They talk about the idol, but they don't understand. You just going back to the first people that had the first Israelite in slavery, which is Joseph. You know what I'm saying? You going back to those people when their religion was like ancestor worship, or when like people like saying Yeshaya, you talking about Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of feel like it might be because you know what I'm saying. We once again, Joseph was the first person Israelite. Thousands and thousands of years ago, and he was the first slave in the Hamite community. You know what I'm saying? As
Yeah.
far as Israelites, so we do got a lot of roots in there. You know what I'm saying? Which that go back to what scriptures tell us what one day we'll bethink ourselves.
Yeah. And see, this is the thing, like these African pan Africans and these people that claim Africa and love Africa so much, right? And then they'll tell you stuff about hoodoo and stuff. They don't never tell you this stuff is watered down. They don't tell you that hoodoo comes from Benin. They don't tell you that it was part of the Mohammed tribe. They don't tell you when you go over there and you look at voodoo over there, it is way different than the voodoo that people are talking about in South America. You see what I'm saying? When people talk about this Africa, if you ever see people that go to Africa and say they went over there and became part of this African tribal culture, you never see that they bring it over here and speak on it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's things they might do over here that they know not gonna be accepted over here. So they push the watered down African zones that America and South America we can accept and stomach. You see what I'm saying? I hate to say it like that, but that's what they do. So they go to this voodoo, they go to these hoodoo, they go to this stuff like that because it's watered down African stuff. It's not just straight African stuff. It's African religion that's mixed in with other religions that watered down enough that Americans can kind of accept it more than the African thing. But if you go to Benin voodoo, and then you don't see them people doing that over there. You don't see it the same way. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these people that calling this African and Pan African is are not really teaching African spirituality. They're not teaching African religions. They're not teaching original African things because they don't really know because they haven't been over there. They ain't never been a part of them tribes. And a lot of the stuff they don't even agree with. They just want you to believe, oh, because we African, we have to accept them because we was a part of them.
Hmm, I get it.
Yeah, and that's why I was trying to get these people to see this because see, this is a real hurtful content for a lot of people. But I like reality, man. I like truth, and I ain't, I'm not about views. I'm not about people liking me because I want to give you. I call it, like I said, I call it good sound. I would call it sound good doctrine. That's what a lot of people do. They do what sounds good to people. They do it interesting to people. They do it makes people. I say it takes people reality away, and that's the type of teaching they try to do. All this, all people. I tell people all the time. They talk about this black power. Black power is supposed to be black love, black unity, black family. You see what I'm saying? Where is that in our communities?
Hmm.
And people get mad when they say that. Where is it? I'm from the hood. I be in the hood. You see what I'm saying? It's murders every day. It's killing every day. Black people hate black people more than any other race, but they hate when people say that. They try to call you a cool. They try to say all this stuff because you're trying to fix something. They want to live in a fantasy. They want to live in a hope instead of fixing it and creating what they want. And that's the problem that a lot of our people are having. When these fake rebels come up with some old black power, they got these guns. When people when stuff happening, do you see them anywhere doing anything? No, they're marching just like everybody else is marching. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of these black Afrocentric Pan Africans, Black Power, revolutionary talking Negroes is part of the Matrix. You see what I'm saying? I tell people you're a fool if you think you will go against the government. How you gonna go against the government when you eat from the government? When the government give you your food, when the government give you your clothes, they give you your medicine. You see what I'm saying? Everything you use, your shelter, your electricity. How you gonna afraid of people that can destroy you by taking everything away from you?
All they
Let's
gotta do
be
is
for
be a
real.
part.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I respected people like people talk about Ben Amin or he left America. But he left America and he started at least they have a national and started their own culture somewhere. It's still not a culture that they wanted because they still on another people's land. People saying that we go into the wilderness. Where's the wilderness at? Tell me where somewhere at where don't nobody own that you can just go to. You see what I'm saying? Where? You going to South America, you still owned by South America. Like where are you gonna go that they own? They own people they don't even know they own. Do you know there's people in I forgot what you call it, senator people. They have never met anybody outside of their tribes. They live in the woods. That's the people that killed that Christian with them arrows. Do you know China owned that? They'll own their land to where they stopping people from coming in there because they would die from diseases. So these people are living as old tribal people who don't have no technology, no electricity, don't know about other people around the whole world, but yet they're still owned by somebody. They don't even know their land is owned. And see, and that's the crazy thing how this world works. So we have
Gravity.
this, we yeah. So we had to. I tell people the closest people again, you the closest people you teach are the people you love, the people that's in your circle. Stop falling for this fake black unity, this fake pride that people are talking about that don't exist. This doesn't exist. It's not around, man. You know what I mean? My elders taught me you take care of your family. When my great uncles built their houses from the ground up, they lived by each other. They made a private property where all of us could come down there. We didn't have nowhere to go. Everybody had houses for us. You see what I'm saying? And they protected it. You come out there, you see an old mother like 90 years old with a shotgun, he'll shoot your ass. You see what I'm saying? Because they created their
Yeah.
own private property. And the mad thing that we have a problem with is y'all didn't teach us this when y'all died. Because at some point of time, the elders start looking at the younger generation as we weren't worthy of learning the wisdom that they learned. And that's where a lot of the messed up come. That's when you get the 80s and 90s, 70s, where people didn't know how to build houses, and then all of a sudden we don't know how to do nothing. A lot of us homes are living with women, don't really know how to work. We're hustling. A lot of that comes from that. Because my uncle built the houses ground up. My great aunts, my granddaddy, all of them built their houses from the ground up, put the electricity in their house and everything. And they all bought
Man,
land and lived right beside each other and created a whole private property.
man, I want that right there.
Yeah, and we can do it. And it just we lost the skills. And then America took the stuff away from us, saying, "Man, you got to go to school." My uncle, man, our great uncles and stuff, they didn't finish school, man. They didn't finish, you know what I'm saying? They didn't finish elementary school, man. They was dropping out of middle school, helping their mother work and stuff. They still know how to build a house. They still know how to put electric in their house.
You know,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
sometimes that stuff just cause it just take will. It just take the will and the want to do it. It don't you don't need to go to school for a lot of stuff.
exactly.
They just tell you that you do to make you feel like you accomplished something. But you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? If you able to, you know what I'm saying, be in the woods or something, you got an axe and all of that stuff, and you can chop down wood and, you know what I'm saying, want to carve it out. I've seen videos where dudes just actually build it from the ground up, you know.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, so what you think about um while I was speaking on the Catholicism and African spirituality and the Christianity, about the Santeria and the voodoo and stuff like Did you have some that you
So,
like? Uh,
but no, just an opinion. I don't got no sources or anything.
oh no,
But
yeah. I mean, say what you gotta say. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't.
as far as, well, you should already know it's Smash and Idol. So uh, all that crap, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They kind of tie into it. You know what I'm saying? You left a couple things out like Islam and stuff, but
yeah.
we
Well,
get
no, I put Islam in there too.
okay.
Yeah,
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 but they it's they all running the same now. I feel like to like audience, like kind of to the audience, you might want to think about listening to it, but before, because I ain't gonna lie to you, you know, when I was listening, it almost sounded like you was like saying like this is us, we should be
yeah,
listening,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's just because I got Negro wax in my ears. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we don't really pay attention, but actually, it's the obvious that if we think about, we read the scriptures and we see how connected we've been with these people for generations and generations. Only thing that happened is we all just finally got scattered all around the world. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, of course, like once again, like the church. You see people, they, it's weird. Like our people just out of nowhere, they don't even know Spanish, a secondary language, and they in the captivity that they in. But they'll be in church and they start speaking the shit about,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And you got to think about where that stuff would come from. And then, like I said, a lot of these religions, even though they tied into each other, we got to think like where we were before we was even mingled with these so-called pink people. You know what I mean? We
yeah,
was around people like us. You know what I'm saying? So it would be very influential and easy for us to adapt to their ways. And even though it may not been ours, centuries later, we still teaching it to our people. So you know, uh,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, see, yeah, and you made a good point, and I like what you just said because that's why I like to hear the listener, because like you said, you took your time out to sit there and listen because soon as a person start hearing me say voodoo, African spirituality, this and this and this and that, they start trying to close their ear up. But if they listen to me, they'll understand that I'm not protecting Christianity. I'm not protecting voodoo. I'm not protecting Catholicism. I'm exposing it. I'm telling Catholicism. I'm telling Christians. If you don't like voodoo, if you don't like Santeria, if you don't like this stuff, you shouldn't like Christianity. You shouldn't like Catholicism because
yep,
it's the same thing. You just made it into a religion and trying to make it seem like it came from out of this book. But the stuff you're doing is not Christianity. The dancing around, the shouting, the catching the whole that is not Christianity. You see what I'm saying? That's not the Christianity that the European brought you. So that's what I'm trying to say. And when I say people, right? When I say when it sounds like I'm saying our people, because let's be for real, everybody, a whole lot of people don't think we are Israelites. So it's just like I have to. When I speak to people, I don't speak just from one box because if I did, then other people go close their ears. You feel what I'm saying? So a person that might think he African gonna close his ears, even though he our brother. A person that think he Moorish, a person that think he this and this and that. So when I'm speaking as us because we came on them boats too, as with the Africans, with the Muslims, with the people. You see what I'm saying? So when I say that. I'm just giving a perspective because like where I'm from, most Virginia people they ain't gonna say they Africans. They gonna talk the indigenous stuff. When I grew up, my mama was always talking indigenous. She ain't talking no African stuff. My granddad, but you said our great uncles, Virginia people talk indigenous stuff. We got plantation. I mean, we got reservations down here. You know, where my family from is right where the Pamunkey tribe. But when we go out paperwork, I got Pamunkey, Mesopotamia, Metapani in me, Chickahominy in me. You see what I'm saying? So I understand that when you talking to people, you talking to a broader people, even though they are a people. Israelite like ISBK, they call everybody a Hebrew. But think about it. You calling a person that think he's an African or come from Africa, he's not gonna listen to you because now you're trying to box yourself out. So when you listen to people, when you are teaching, you gotta understand who you're talking to. Because I'm not just trying to talk to a certain people. I'm trying to talk to our people. You know what I'm saying? And our people have different aspects of who they think they are. So I can't just say I'm speaking to a certain people, and I have to understand when I'm talking for us, and I'm talking to us. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep. Just like just like you said, uh, sooner or later, basically, our people wind up going back to even when we look at scriptures, we
Yeah,
always want going back straight back to the oppressor some one way or the other. So
yeah,
when you think about it, you know what I'm saying, when you think about like the so-called black Christians, right? They swear that they was once lost and now they found, right? So
yeah,
they think that they was in the streets lost, but then they go to the church. They still wind up right back to some type of doctrine of some sort throughout the centuries uh that go back to, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
so-called Africa or Egypt, Ham, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And then so far, even when we double it all the way down to people that found out that it's just the Most High only, sooner or later, they wind up going back to Egypt, you know what I mean? And they wind up in something else if they don't stick fast to the Torah. What is that? Isaiah 31, where it's talk about woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
We
yeah,
always wind up going back to some type of spiritual ideology that goes back to them people, and it's because genetically it's really embedded in us. That's why Yahweh talks about us purging ourselves, and the Wad talks about, you know what I'm saying, Yahweh purging us from iniquities and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, from the
yeah,
blood guiltiness of our forefathers type thing.
yeah. And I agree with all that. And see, I do. I kind of use psychology when I teach too. So right, um just like a person who's addicted to something, right? They tell you you have to, anybody can love themselves, anybody can love the positive self of themselves, but for you to fix yourself, your negative side, you have to face your negative side, you have to accept your negative side, and you have to acknowledge that you have a negative side, so therefore you can fix the negative side. So when people talk about Christianity, I'm gonna talk about the negative side of it. I'm gonna talk about the side that people don't want to talk about. When we talk about Israelites, and we talk about our Israelites and we Israelites, and I understand and I accept it, but we also got to talk about the wickedness we've been doing. Because I hate Israelites that try to make it seem like they righteous, that they stiff necked people. Because in the Bible we were wicked. We were dealing with Canaan. We were mixing in with other religions. We were worshiping other gods, and that's the stuff we have to accept too and understand. This is why a lot of times we was in them conditions. We talk about how we get oppressed, how God punished us, but we tend to not talk about why. We don't get deep into the details of why.
Yep.
Because you
Hey.
see what I'm saying? We don't do that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We don't do that. We want to accept it. We say, oh yeah, we was punished, but what was our people doing? Let us know. What was the wickedness? Because when you see the wickedness of our people was doing, you had that makes you. It don't make me hate Israel. It don't make me help my ancestors. You know what it does? It makes me understand that God loved us. It makes me understand the love of God even more and how strong it is. Because we was that wicked and doing that much stuff, sacrificing children, eating all type of wrong, bad foods, doing this to our kids, sacrifice, worshiping all these different gods, doing all this stuff, and God still accepted us when we asked to be accepted and acknowledged Him again and brought us back into a blessing. So people that doesn't hurt me when people say, "Yo, I was wicked and this and this and that." It only shows me how much God really loved us.
Yep. I would I remember once I was watching YouTube, and this I guess this heathen, she was going on a rant, she was going on a little rant about like everybody trying to claim Yasharal, you know what I'm saying, trying to claim they're the real Israelites. And then she started going into like detail like, well, whoever the real Israelites is, y'all were super idolatrous, you're disobedient, you caused all of these things that happened in the world that didn't have to happen if you wasn't disobedient, things like that. And then like it made me think about like when will we bethink ourselves, because it's right there in the open where at least we see, not only do we see what we did, but now since we have see since whence damn I said whence,
Yeah,
when people see, I'm tripping, when people
yeah,
see who we are and they start to realize who we are and they don't like it, they're gonna start pointing the finger. Well, you guys did this and this and this, and it's very dire that we understand if we look at it in that perspective, then we'll start to change
Yeah,
our ways as a whole nation, like only coming to the Most High. And then when people, when the world start waking up more and they being envious, they can't point the finger at us because we've changed it by then.
yeah,
We started to bethink ourselves about what we did, which is,
yeah. We
me
accepted it. It's
nation.
it's almost like, I'm not a fan of Eminem in no way, right? But when you look at the 8 Mile aspect, right? What did he do in the battle? He put everything out on the table and said, "Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. Yes, I did that." So you know what? You can't point the finger at me no more. That's why I tell people I don't act holy. I let you know I was from the streets. I let you know at 13 I was selling drugs. I let you know I was toting guns. I let you know in the streets I did all this stuff. So don't be trying to come back and go on my record and try to act like, oh, look what he did back there. Because I told you what I did. So it doesn't hurt me. Because you know what? I don't try to be something that I'm not. I am a human being who been through a lot of stuff, who God woke up and who put me in my path, when I found the path that he put me in, I kept walking it. I haven't been with a woman in a year, over a year, 2 years. You know what I'm saying? A relationship, nothing. I haven't, I don't go out to party. I don't smoke. I don't drink no more. I don't do none of that stuff. I just work. I take care of my son. You know what I'm saying? I help my son out. And I teach. People say, "What you do for fun, man?" I teach. I read. I research. That's my hobby. That's been my hobby. That's what I love doing. I don't care about really going. I don't care about fighting no more. I don't care about toting guns because I did that from an aspect of being angry as traumas that I had in my life, and I'm over that now. I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? So it's just to that point where now that what I'm saying is now I'm telling people it's too much people claiming Israelites that ain't Israelites. You follow Jesus. I'm sorry to tell you, you're not a Christian. You're not an Israelite. You're a Christian. If you out here arguing, cussing people out, threatening people, you're not an Israelite.
And
You're
then,
no better than the wicked Israelite that was in the Bible that got us to the conditions we're in.
yep, and then the camps and stuff like that, they got the nerve to go on the corner and then yell and scream and make a mockery of us and the doctrine that Yahweh give us about not only putting another book in, but then they yelling, screaming, cussing them out, telling them the plans that Yahweh has in store for them, even though they got the book in their face every church Sunday. They don't read it, they self their own judgment. They go out there, what I'm saying, doing all
Yeah,
type of infantry and stuff. And really, when I talk to people, I don't. Sometimes I come across heathens and stuff, and they see the tassels, they know what's up, and I have to automatically defend the fact that what I'm saying, how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? I only follow the Most High. The that Black JC thing is not real, and then first thing they got is they start thinking I'm gonna come at them telling them what what's gonna happen to them and this and this, when really I don't need to do all of that. All I need to do is actually be, because one thing I realized what happened is when you start telling people who you are, they start telling you about what y'all do, what
exactly.
your community do to each other and this and this. And it's like, if I get there first, hey, look, the reason why we're in this predicament is because
Yep.
this is what we did to
Yeah.
our creator. We went against this, and then y'all came in power, and this is what y'all did. But
Yeah.
the scriptures say, if we turn back, then these are the blessings that we're going to accomplish, and one of them will be over y'all. It's not our words; it's His words, the same
Yeah.
book that you read.
Yeah. I mean, we supposed to be the light of the world. We supposed to be the top of the world. You know what I'm saying? And we at the bottom, and we put ourselves at the bottom, and we ain't got nobody else to blame but us. That's why I always told Israelites, which one are you gonna do? Are you gonna blame everybody and say that we in the condition because people put us in this, or you gonna blame? or you gonna say we in this condition because what our ancestors did and we continuously doing today, because both of don't work like that. So once you understand that the things you're doing, the conditions you put yourself in, is coming from that. I don't when I understood. Listen, when I was growing up and I understand, still understanding my daddy didn't come see me. I was still angry, all this stuff and stuff. I still look at that as justice for me trying to justify what I did. No, I was wicked at the time. I wanted to be wicked. I let it control me and I let it get to me. And I was punished for it. I became homeless. I ain't have nobody. Stuff started happening. I got divorced, because of the condition, because of the way I was still carrying myself. When I understood and I looked at myself and said, you know what, you put yourself here. Stop blaming your wife. Stop blaming your mother. Stop blaming your father. Stop blaming everybody around the world except yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, you are the reason you in this condition. And that's how I got out of my condition, because I understood what happened to me. And a lot of us not doing it. We start reading this Bible. We start acting like we're so holy. Then we
Yep.
start doing things, you know what I'm saying, and trying to justify, I did this and that, this and this and that. Then you trying to say, oh, well, you did it too, or you do that. That's where you trying to deflect. You're trying to justify what you're doing. Accept that you did something wicked. Go to the Most High. Change the wickedness that you did. That's for repenting and keep going. Stop
But I
trying
think,
to. Yeah, everybody's gonna mess. Nobody's perfect here. I don't try to act perfect. You know what I'm saying? I might tomorrow get mad. Somebody might slap him one day. Hey, does that mean
but
they got the whole her gun? I'm just saying.
but
I might
but
slip
see,
one day.
this the thing. This the problem that I got though, and this problem that needs to be resolved
Yeah,
within the community, because we look at the scriptures as it is. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? We understand that as a Torah based person, a Torah based community, we are responsible for all our endeavors. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It ain't nobody else that can come between that or anything. But for some reason, we are the ones that seems that people are that in our community, the Israelite community, period. The Torah only people are the ones that are considered like we trying to make it seem like we holier than anything, those type of things.
yeah,
But the problem is there's actually a spirit of pride on the people that are the Messianic people. And the reason why I actually say that, it's not me trying to bug up at them or anything.
yeah,
But I say that because when you think about someone dying for you, right?
mm-hmm.
Whether it's an ancestor, I mean, come on, think about it. Ancestor, JC supposed to be an ancestor, you
Yeah,
praying to
yeah,
him. Come on. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Going back to African, you know
exactly.
what I'm
First
saying?
covenant.
But they they say somebody died for their sins, for the redemption of their sins. So when you actually think about it, the reason why they still do whatever they do and then just blame it on their sins and them being imperfect, because they actually in their mind think they're perfect because someone was they were so special that someone laid down their life for them, which makes them more perfect than someone that does not believe in them. And the spirit of pride is one thing that our oppressor has, which we know, they call themselves the Proud Boys and
Yeah,
proud to be an American, all of this stuff. So the real problem is a pride problem. Yes, Torah only two, but the biggest, the masses is, the Messianic people that have this pride in them. They don't know about them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm thinking, yeah, you're right. I mean, everything you said, I agree with. Because they feel so proud for saying that somebody died for their sins. You know what I mean? And I tell people this, man, and people get mad. I said, listen, and I tell Christians this. Listen, we are not the same. Stop trying to say that this is one book. We are not the same. Y'all worship Jesus. You know what I mean? And they be like, well, why you say that? And I said, well, who you pray to? They say Jesus. I said, who died for your sins? They say Jesus. Who is your Savior? They say Jesus. Who is the King of Heaven? They say Jesus. So I said, what is God to you then? You see what I'm saying? So if that person is doing everything, that's who you worship. Stop trying to tell me you worship something else other than that. I respect a person more that says I worship Jesus. You see what I'm saying? To try to make it seem like that they worship Jesus and God. Even Jesus himself, you say you can't worship two masters. So it's the point of we have to start understanding, and I think that wakes up a lot of people because when they start looking at it, they say, "Damn, you're right." So now that I tell people, what's your choice? Because it's the Most High alone, or it's no, or do you worship Jesus? You see what I'm saying? And it ain't gonna be both with me. So don't come with me saying that stuff because I ain't accepting it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm challenging you to go into that Old Testament and tell me and show me one thing where he said he has a son in heaven with him or in the sky with him, and he's gonna let him control heaven and he's gonna die for that stuff ain't in there. So therefore, you get it
One
from a
moment.
whole nother book that's not there. And it's if that's what you want to accept that, then accept it. But stop getting mad at us because I hear people tell me literally tell me this thing about what they tell you. You're going to hell for not worshiping Jesus, even though you worship God. Think about that. But I can worship Jesus and not God, and I still can make it to heaven. Think about that. So, who do you really worship? Just sit back and think with the stuff you're saying and who you really following and worshiping. You worship Jesus, you really don't care about God, and that's just that simple because you think Jesus is God. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like I said, people got to start facing it. And like I wake people up like this. Like I talked to one girl, she was a Christian Israelite, and she was talking about how Jesus was the King of Israel and this and that. I just told her simple. I said, "Well, show me where he had a kingdom. Show me his crown. Show me how he was the King of Israel." She tried to go back in the verse. You know what she did? She came back and said, "You right." And see, that's how people wake up to the truth. That's what somebody that want to know the truth because they are willing to accept the truth if it goes to, and it goes against anything that they ever believed in. It's stuff that I believed in myself growing up. And when I found out it wasn't real and I found out the truth of it, I kept the truth and kept going. I'm not going to sit there and try to keep the lie because the lie feels better to me. And that's the problem with a lot of people doing.
Oh,
Sister Yash, Yash, Sister Yashawan, I think everybody go through their blame to the white man phase, but then you really have to realize the truth of it is our people who messed up. We can't blame nobody else. Yeah, we can't. We can't. I mean, 2024. Are we still gonna try to say, man? Listen, we are. That's why I made that whole thing on the effects of slavery having us today, because I was showing that today our sons, the people, our children, our youth are becoming our oppressors. Our
that's
grandmas can't go outside without getting shot. Our kids can't even go out to eat or go on the playground without getting shot because their daddies are so wicked now that people want to kill them and willing to shoot them down while they with their mama, while they with their grandma, while they with their children. They going to grave sites. They're paying on grave sites. They're going to dead. They're killing people, going to their burials, putting them on camera, dissing them, writing on their grave sites. I mean, they doing so much wickedness. It's crazy.
that's Isaiah 3 and 12. That's what that is. The scriptures literally
Yeah,
speak to us. As
yeah.
as for my people, children are the oppressor, and women rule over them. It's like right there, bro.
Yeah, and people gotta understand how that type of prophecy works. It's not just a prophecy for one time. And that's why we try to. That's why we made Deuteronomy 28. We try to tell people there's not a prophecy of the slave trade. And they say, "Oh, what you trying to say the slave trade?" No, no, we're not saying that it's not a curse from it. We're saying it's not a prophecy of it. What we mean is that Deuteronomy, that them laws it says when you do this or you don't do this. It's talk about any generation, and every generation that ever was wicked was punished, and we were just as wicked in them oppressions that we are now. We was under the Canaanite oppression. We was wicked. We was under Egypt. We was wicked. We was under when we was under Assyria, Babylon, all these places. We were wicked too. We was worshiping their gods. We had hatred for our brother. We had all this stuff. That's why he kept them laws, and we kept them to conditions and commandments because every time he got us out of it, we had something to follow on. You see what I'm saying? We had something to follow on. That's why we can go back into something and say, hey, love your brother, don't destroy or kill your brother, because we're doing that to this day because we've been doing it. We've been doing it. The wickedest people in the Bible are Israelites. Am I wrong or am I right? Am I wrong?
No, you can. Yeah, you right, bro.
You see what I'm saying? They're the wickedest people in the Bible,
I
but
mean,
God still loved us.
can't nobody refute that, bro. Because if we the only nation that he love and he know, and we the only ones that keep getting punished and punished and punished, so we got to be the wickedest ones. He gave
Yeah,
us the key to life.
yeah. He made us his children. He don't saved us plenty of times. He don't gave us blessings. He gave us a land. We keep wicked doing wicked stuff, wicked, 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 and then we trying to act like we so righteous. You see what I'm saying? The righteous ones, the ones that were righteous, that actually got the blessing and was in their land. You want to be righteous, then you have to work on getting to where the blessings become on our as a people. And you ain't and individually, we need to start doing it as a nation of people. And what's going on, everybody is taking this Israelite stuff and they're not doing it as a nation of people. They're doing it as religions. And that's what the problem is. They have lost the understanding of religion, they have lost the understanding of culture, and they have gained religion. So Israelite is nothing but a religion to most of people. They want to walk around and tell you you gotta wear this, you can't cut your hair, you can't do this, you gotta what does that go do? And I mean, and people get mad when I say, "What happens if I don't do the Sabbath right now? What happens to me? What people gonna do? What's gonna happen to me? I have never did a Sabbath in my life. Is that gonna bring me back to Israel? Because if you could show me that can, I would do it. What's gonna happen if I cut my hair? What's gonna happen if I don't wear fringes? What's gonna happen? Now it's stuff that naturally is going to happen to you. You eat certain foods, of course you're going to die from eating it. But what's going to happen from you doing these certain things in the oppression that you already admitting that you're oppressed under because you're cursed? So that's why I try to tell people: are you cursed or you're not cursed? Because if you're cursed, why are you acting like these things are going to save you? Because
I feel like
the only savior is the Most High. And if I'm wrong, let me know. You see what I'm saying?
uh, I feel like these camps and stuff, certain things they try to push, like you better have your fringes. You
Exactly.
better have the motherfuckers, or you gonna die. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or
Yeah.
whatever type stuff. I think they push that because they know it's certain things that we have a more hard time getting at a certain point, and we like on a forceful mode, and they know we stiff neck because I feel like those type of things that they pull is like cointail, like little triggers and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a person, I ain't gonna cap. I wear my fringes all the time when I go out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or I try to make sure I do. But if I see you, I ain't like, oh, this Ock, you wicked. Where your fringes at? Ock?
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy.
Look, if now if you got a problem with somebody not wearing fringes, I feel like you know what you should do. Hey, you got a problem with them not wearing fringes? Won't you come up with a clothing line and give out free fringes?
Yeah.
Look, there you go. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I think a lot of those things that they like, those little things that we know, like,
Now, I don't
hey,
mind. Like I said, like you saying as far as you wear it because you wearing it as a cultural thing. You wearing it because you want the people to know what you are. And but like I said, like you said, when I walk, I don't met man camp Israelites. I don't. I remember I was at a food place. I seen a girl. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You an Israelite? Cause she had them fridges on. She was like, and she just looked at me. She didn't say hey to me, nothing. She just looked down at me like, and I know the look. The look was like, why you ain't got no fringes on? Why you wearing this street clothes? She looked at me like I was lower than her. But I guarantee, but I'm like in my head, I'm in my head, you a Jesus worshiper, you're an idol worshiper. But you making y'all making it seem like because you wear fringes that somehow everybody in this condition is doing things that we all ain't gonna agree on. That don't I don't think I'm better than my Christian brothers. I don't think I'm better than my Christian Israelite brothers. I just think we are more woker and we have to go back into them and bring them more. I believe that we are the people who came out the matrix and we trying to pull you out the matrix. And in any condition or any way I have to do it, if I had to beat you up, if I have to if I had to clown you a little bit, if I had to whatever I have to do to get you to pay attention to me, get you out this matrix, that's my job to do. You see what I'm saying? But I ain't worrying about no fringes right now. I ain't worrying about how you cutting your hair. I'm not worrying about none of that stuff because ain't none of that stuff uniting us. We got to get you. We got to. If people want to do stuff, we got to start establishing a nation of people. And I don't know if it's possible right now because the way it's going. Because a religion would never establish a nation. A religion divides. When people start doing the religion, it divides because now they worry about this person believes that. Now I used to be around these camps. You got camps that think Jesus is born of Joseph. So they beefing with the people that think Jesus is born of a virgin. You got people that think Jesus is a reincarnation of Adam. You see what I'm saying? Them three things right there has created about 100 different groups. Just them three different beliefs. So just imagine with the other stuff that they're teaching. Some people is ISBK teaches our reincarnation. Then you got Christians that don't believe in reincarnation. You got some that don't that you see what I'm saying. So it's different ones. You got some Israelites that teach when Jesus comes back, they come with aliens. They're gonna great people. You see what I'm
Now,
saying? So
hey,
yeah,
I look now. This is the thing, like just like you said, uh, like they teach, like some of them teach what is it, reincarnation, right?
yeah,
Stuff like that, or afterlife. Now, I think that type of stuff be like Tell because it's like so you gonna tell me about the afterlife and when you ain't been there. Now, if you believe in this, if you believe that the scriptures say that, that's one thing. But one thing I feel like is COINTEL is that type of stuff not really gonna get us to the
yeah,
land or get us. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's like they push that type of stuff, and then it puts like a separation between this Israelite camp, that Israelite camp. You know what I'm saying? And then
yeah,
even in the Torah community, you feel me? It's like I know it's brother, I know it's Torah only people that think, oh, well, people that don't worship the Most High, they going to hell. They gonna be burning in a lake of fire, and I'd be like, okay, well, only play weeping and gnashing of teeth. I'd be like, well, only place I see weeping and gnashing of teeth is in the New Testament, bro. But anyway, that ain't even nothing for us to be speaking about because that's not you telling me about hell ain't gonna get me to quote unquote heaven, bro. You got to
yeah,
be teaching me light. You feel me?
yeah. I mean, and see, like I'm a person, right? I teach reincarnation, but I don't teach it like in a belief. I teach it like I study this. This is what I study. I'm putting this out, and we can look at it. So I don't try to teach it, and I don't never teach it that it comes. And I let people know when I teach this, this don't come from the Bible. When I teach NDA, this don't come from the Bible. So I don't go to my biblical people. People try to act like this stuff fits in the Bible because it doesn't. This is stuff I research outside of
Thank
the
you.
Bible. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you, if you want to accept it, you don't. If you don't want to accept it, because this is stuff I study. Do I believe reincarnation is real? I'm gonna say I don't really know, but I've seen evidence that it could be, but I can't. I'm not gonna say it is, and I'm not gonna teach it like that is in the Bible. So that's what the problem I have for people. Just admit that you are reading other stuff outside of the Bible. It's like people think it's so wicked to read stuff outside of the Bible, to study outside of the Bible, and that's the problem. That's what I be saying. The Bible doesn't have all the answers. It doesn't. It's not meant to have all the answers. It's meant to the Bible is specifically meant for lessons, laws, and commandments. That is the most important thing you take out of that book. That's the most important thing on everything.
Yeah. You
You see what I'm
know,
saying? Yeah.
yeah. I think like I don't know, it's something about this word face in Second Chronicles 7:14 that really standing out to me. And I don't know what it is yet, but when I think
Hold
about
on.
when it says, huh? Oh, but like I was saying, like it really stand out when it say my people which are called by my name humble themselves, pray, seek my face. And then when you think about like the military or army, you know what I'm saying? They say about face, you know what I'm saying? You stand in that attention
Yeah.
and whoever said about face, you're right there and all eyes and everything is on them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think like if we really analyze that, then we'll know what seeking Yahweh face is. And it's actually like you remember like in Psalms when it talks about like pray, it go through like all type of elements of praise and like praise, all trees praise him, old wind praise him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things like that. And when we look at the works of the Most High, you know what I'm saying? I think if people would get to that and not what another man could do, you know what I'm saying? Then
Yeah.
it'll go better. It's almost like it's like you walking into a field. I mean, you know what I'm saying, a forest, and then a bunch of wolves circle around. You know what I'm saying? At that moment, bro, you know for a fact it ain't even you that can save you. It's only one thing that can save you. And I don't think people realize like don't let it be to near death experience. I ain't talking about I was gone and then I seen it. I ain't talking about like them just like you living and there's only one thing that can help you. You know what I'm saying? And you
Yeah.
know, like every human know. I don't want to get too deep, but every human know, bro. And if you don't know, then you'll know when it happened, bro. When that even the closest part of you departed from this physical world, when it starts to happen, whether it's a physical thing or whatever, you know that there is only one thing that can help you. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
It's just they don't want to realize it until it's too late because we still got that Christian mind frame. Like, what? Only if you just believe in the
Exactly.
name, you know.
Exactly. But I'm not gonna be able to stay on here long. I appreciate you coming on. Is there any last words you want to say before we go?
Yeah, no, I was just up here just rocking with you because you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I
I
wish I
wanted
could
to
stay
have
on
that.
longer. We had a good conversation, but yeah, I could. I got a. Uh, I got company and people calling me. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
for
is
sure.
a. Yeah.
Yeah, a good presentation.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. And let me see. She said, I noticed none of the ONT community work like give out clothes, tassels, or food. I could be wrong, but I haven't heard it. I think it should be back to that too and start having classes for one another and sewing, carpentry, and mechanics. That's real. And since you want to come on the show, we need some sisters to come on the show too, man. You know, we don't discriminate. Come on the show. If you want to just talk, just be on here by yourself or be on with a couple of people that you want to choose to or talk or bring some people with you. Come holler at us. You know what I'm saying? But anybody that missed the show, go back, look at the show. I'm showing again how African spirituality, how all these things like Santeria, voodoo, all that stuff is mixed with Christianity, Catholicism. And I'm telling you again, if you don't like that, if you don't like Santeria, if you think voodoo wicked, if you think all this stuff wicked, you should think Christianity is wicked and Catholicism is wicked too. Because all them stuffs are mixed in far as North American religion. So go back and watch it. It's a great show. DOA gonna let me know when again we will get back together and get the click back and get on to do another show. I just did this for a slow day today. I wanted to put some stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Peace, sister. Peace. Yeah. But come on the show, holler at us. And everybody that's watching, thank you. And Smash, is anything you want to say before we go out of here?
Oh, oh God, smash an idol.
Peace, peace. I'm about to leave out with some music. This is by my cousin. His name is Richie Roll. Is reminisce. Thank y'all for watching.
Could this be here would make you reminisce? Sitting back, pondering, wondering if this really it. I'm really it. Everyone told me since I was just a jit that I would make a difference. Like instantly started making hits. July 25th, moms and pops received the gift. That was me, the golden child, the black sheep. Now I'm grown and proud. Pops died, I was 12 or 13. Turned the crib at 13. That was some niggas' worst dream. Older sis was 16, older brother was 19. I looked up to him, I felt he taught me the right thing. I was skipping school and hanging all night on that night scene. Flipping packs, stealing cars and breaking in houses for nice things. Future looking blit, past colder than ice cream. Mom's throwing fits and I'm fighting and serving crack fiends. Where I'm from, you either the hustler or the doer. Had a fetish for cash and too much pride to be a doer. But don't get it twisted, I seen them hustlers turn to doers and doers turn to hustlers. That's the life in the sewer. My granny is my rock, she knew her grandbabies was rulers. So I'ma forever show my respect I ever knew ya. Hallelujah. To God. Allah. To God. Elohim shit, nigga. Meditation. Hey look, malicious wounded, saw the battery as a jury charge. In and out of police cars, they never gon' respect the law. Expect the law to shoot you in your back and flip your closest friend. Claiming that you tellin' and you'll never see your spam again. Niggas fall for everything, how you stand for anything? Niggas trippin' in they rain, I'm dry and catching them again. Cause I done live a hard life, my hands I play my cards right. In that kitchen all night, turning salt to that hard white. I'm alright, but Logan, powder blue up on that left side. Crippin' with my south side hitters, but I'm from west side. Yes, I'm riding on any vision in my eyes. My mind spiritual, didn't help to be baptized. Skinny dip is swimming that lake of fire like 4 times. Flesh still attached, but I'm burning all on that inside. Sit back, thinking and concentration and no mind. No lie, truthfully, honestly, I'm the